Hi friends, I hope you're doing well. I am here on my mat with my bolster today because I thought that we could do some heart opening poses. Now I've been having some anxiety lately. I think it's probably the spring weather. Over the course of the last week or so, maybe even 2 weeks now, we've been having daily temperature fluctuations of like 20 degrees almost every day. It's bouncing back and forth. And so this is really hard on our bodies. As you might know, it's really hard on heating and cooling systems. But as a result of having this constant flipping action in our environment, it can be unsettling. And you might be noticing that you have some extra energy, a little bit more anxiety than normal. And this is very typical for this season, the spring season. It's also typical again in fall. So I want you to not worry about it too much because there are things that we can do to kind of help bring us back to a more centered spot. So for me, because my body does not tolerate cold temperatures at all, it means that I have a lot of front cross body syndrome happening, which means a lot of contraction along my front line. Particularly, I've noticed it in my shoulders. One shoulder has a tendency to come forwards more than the other because I use it in my digital work. I use it as a mouse. So the shoulder always sits and rotates forward. So we're going to try and work with opening up through the rib cage today. Just going to have a quick class, show you some tips and tricks that you can use your bolster for or pillows if you have at home. So this is a really nice class too. If you do have a lot of anxiety or feeling really overwhelmed, a slower paced class is better most of the time because it helps you get out of that really hyperactive state, hyperactive mindset. Taking deep breaths in and out and opening up the chest is going to help you feel like you can breathe better. Okay, so we'll get started. However you want to start with your meditation is fine. I'm going to choose to do seated meditation because that's what I've really been enjoying lately. But other options would be to take your pillow or your bolster, whatever you have, and lay down either on your back with the pillow underneath you along your spine, or you can lay on your front with the pillow underneath you, just ending at the top of the chest here. So like this, so you can rest your head on your hands and lay face down. It's also a really nice option if you're feeling super anxious. It's very grounding. So whatever position is most comfortable for you to get some beginning breaths, we'll start there. And because we want to try and bring some balance into the body, you can either choose to do free breaths like how we normally do, or you can choose to do Nadhi Shodhana, which is alternate nostril breathing. So you can choose to do it with just your thumb and your index finger, or you can choose to do it with a mudra, in which case your ring finger and pinky finger are twisted. Okay, and then we use our first two fingers tucked down, and we use the pad of the ring finger to press on the nostril. So either just regular fingers, first and second, or a fancy mudra. Either's fine, or free breathing. If you want to do alternate nostril breathing, we'll take a big inhale with both nostrils completely open. And then we'll close the right and breathe out through the left. And then inhale only through the left. Close the left, open the right, exhale out through the right. Inhale through the right. Close, alternate, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close, exhale to the right. Inhale to the right. Close. Exhale to the left. Inhale to the left. Close. Exhale to the right. Inhale to the right. Close. Exhale to the left. Inhale to the left. Close. Exhale to the right. Inhale to the right. And release. Exhale through both nostrils. Inhale through both nostrils. Exhale through both nostrils. So now we're going to find our breath after we've worked just a little bit to find center. Now notice how your breath is moving after just even that exercise. Do your lungs feel a little cleaner? Like you've moved some of the stagnant air out? Notice where the air still feels like it's getting a little stuck. And then just follow your breath. So we're not trying to control it. Maybe if you can lengthen your exhale a little bit, you can try that. But we're really trying to just meet our breath where we are today. So if your breath is a little bit more shallow, in depth, it sits up higher in the chest rather than activating belly breathing, you'll know that you've been in a state of maybe agitation, where you needed a little bit more oxygen, maybe a little bit of stress. But hopefully as we work on our mat, your breath will relax and deepen just a little bit more. Soft breaths in and out. And then when you're ready, from wherever you are, you can feel your breath begin to deepen. And if you're not already sitting up, we'll make our way there. We'll take a big inhale, reach both arms up. Excuse me. Interlace the fingers, turn the palms face up, pull the low ribs in, but lift the top part of your chest. So you'll get a big back opener, but just from the middle of your back and up. And then we'll drop the hands to one side. Inhale up, exhale over. Inhale up, exhale over. Inhale up and exhale over. And we'll shake our hands out. And then from here, we're going to take the hands behind us, interlace the fingers, and press them down towards the floor. So same action as opening up the top part of the chest, but the shoulders are in a different orientation here. So they're pressing down towards the floor. And then while we have our hands here, we'll drop our right ear down to our shoulder and roll through the neck. Nice and easy. Lifting up across the back. So we're not throwing the head back. We're lifting the face as if we were sunning it. And then in the opposite direction. Nice and easy. And back to center. And then we'll roll through the shoulders. So notice how, particularly your clavicles, the front part of the collarbones are sitting. They're sitting a little high. And then if there are any crunchy spots in your shoulders, maybe you are experiencing some tension across your back. So just noticing all of these little details. Ooh. I had a crunch, but then it went away. Interesting. Okay. So from here, what we're going to do is take our bolster and we're going to get a little bit of an arm stretch here from across the front of our chest. So I'm going to set it off to my right side. I'm going to drop my right shoulder onto it. Okay, so it's underneath my right hip and underneath my right shoulder. I'm going to extend my right hand out to the side. Take my left hand and I'm going to put it down underneath my shoulder so it's supporting me, okay? Now from here, I'm going to roll open to the side. Now for some of us, this is a little bit too lifted. So depending on what amount of stretch the front of your arm can take, this lifts the shoulder up and off the floor, alleviating the stretch. If you're not getting enough of a stretch, so for me, I need a little bit more, you can remove the bolster. But I always like to offer that first, just in case you're feeling super tight across your shoulders. So all we do is roll backwards so that your hand is behind you and we're opening up the chest towards the ceiling. Taking big breaths all the way in and all the way out. You can also do this standing by pressing your hand into a wall and then rotating your chest away and open from the wall. This reclining version is just nice. And then from here, we're going to rotate down back towards the floor and we're going to do the other side. So this time, opposite arm extends out. For me, it's my left. I'm going to put my right hand right underneath my right shoulder, pick up my right foot, bring it back behind me onto my toes, and slowly roll open. Now you might have more room on one side than the other, and that's fine. Just take a couple deep breaths as best as you can. You might feel a stretch down your arm or across your chest. And either is fine. There's no right or wrong way. And you just want to adjust the stretch as much as you need to, either coming into it a little deeper as we spend time here or coming out of it. So listening to your body and what it's asking for. And from here we'll inhale and roll back to center. Lift up the chest. So then from here we're going to come into a modified puppy pose. So I'm going to bring the floor a little bit closer to me. So I'm going to bring my chest down onto my bolster versus coming down all the way to the floor. So in puppy, we start on our hands and knees and our hips are right over the knees. And we keep the hips right over the knees as we drop the chest down towards the floor. Now for some of us, the floor is really far away. And I happen to be one of those people. So I'm going to work my way down onto my elbows. And then once I'm here, working towards dropping my chest onto my bolster and press my hands down into the floor. Now the key is holding your low ribs in and dropping your tailbone down towards the mat. So there's a tendency to want to go sway back here, but the energy is drawing the spine straight. So after a while, you might be able to move your bolster out of the way and drop all the way down towards the floor, or maybe just a little bit closer towards the floor. Taking some big breaths all the way in, all the way out. I know it's hard to breathe in these stretches, but just do the best you can. And then to come out, we lean forwards. And we're going to bring our knees up and underneath us, and we're going to come into child's pose just to relax the shoulders after that big stretch. Big inhale here. Big exhale. And we're going to bring our hands right underneath the shoulders. We'll do 2 cat extended cats just to put the body back into place. All right, so then from here, we're going to do 2 versions of fish. Well, we're going to do 1 version of fish and then recline all the way back. So for fish, we're going to use our bolster, bring it behind us. We want it just underneath our upper back so that it's right underneath our underarms. So it's coming underneath where my arms come off of my torso and they can drop down and away. We're going to take a couple breaths here. So this is a back bend. And we're feeling it lifting our center here, finding a lot of spreading across the front of the chest. So we're trying to keep the low ribs coming in and down. If this is causing a lot of tension in the low back, you can always flex the knees and drop the knees in towards each other, finding a more neutral pelvis. So sometimes lifting up pelvis, setting it back down is helpful as our muscles get trapped underneath us, causing a little bit more of an arch when we don't need one. So just take a couple breaths here. Feel your heart opening Notice what's happening with your collarbones and your shoulders. And then you can choose to either stay here or do one more variation. If you choose to do one more variation, we're going to lift up. And now we're going to use our prop vertically along our spine. So now that it's a little bit more narrow, we're really going to focus on dropping the shoulders open to the side. So there was a lot of opening across the chest with that lift just underneath the upper chest. Now the lift across the spine is more uniform, but on the edges we're allowed to drop down and away. So shoulder joints are what's going to drop open. So as we lay back, spine is more neutral. I would invite you, if you're interested, to come into cobblers with the feet and allow your knees to drop out to the side to mirror the shoulders dropping as well. And just find a spot that's comfortable for your arms in this supported reclining pose. And we're going to take Shavasana here. So you can spend some time here if you'd like, and then remove the bolster, or spend the entire time with the support underneath you. If you're still feeling really anxious and like you can't breathe, super flighty, another option would be to remove the bolster, lay it vertically on top of your rib cage, and wrap your arms around it. Same thing goes if you want to leave it underneath you. You can just cross your arms over the chest. Sometimes this pressure across the chest with the pressure of the spine along the floor or your prop can be really grounding. Kind of like being in a sandwich or wrapped up in a really nice blanket. So pick something that's right for you, taking some deep breaths and noticing how your breath compares to that at the beginning of class. So we did our Nadi Shodhana, and then how was your breath after we were finished with that exercise? Notice how your breath is moving now. Maybe it has a little bit more space to roll and curl inside of the ribs. Maybe not. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. And allow the earth to take the weight and support you. So there's nothing left for you to do or be. No more expectations. Remaining here for just a few more breaths. Following each inhale and each exhale in this moment, in this place. Now remember, you are always welcome to stay here as long as you wish. If you'd like to end with me, you can start to find some small movements in fingers and toes, wrist or ankle circles, a roll of the head, or a stretch of the arms. Whatever helps you feel at home in your body. And then whenever you feel ready, you can slowly roll off to one side, being mindful of your props. Taking a moment here, feeling the expansion of the breath on 3 sides of the body and the support of the earth on the 4th. And then whenever you feel ready, slowly working your way back up to seated. So I hope that this class leaves you feeling a little bit better, a little bit more able to breathe. Remember, you can always come onto your mat, lay down on the floor whenever you need to, even if it's just for a few minutes somewhere. So as always, thank you very much for practicing with me today. Take care. Namaste.